I started with two.
I did, yeah, we were away for almost 3 weeks. In August, that's really well. We went to, we're in Barcelona for a week, then we went to Malta for a week, and then we went to, Portugal.
Oh, that's something.
That was, yeah, that was basically like most of August. Yeah, we packed a lot of stuff into the trip. So when we got back, we kind of tired.
Yeah.
So anyway, we got yeah.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. How you doing? Welcome back. Come to the table. Careful. This one. Okay. I don't know, is it easy to do? I guess, that's, really just the landscaping plan. I think if you take, maybe go with that.
This is
Oh, we're live.
I'm out. I'm just not.
Okay, all right. That's late info today with house in the country. When it comes to. We're actually live, so we're not going to open up the meeting. So this is the Historic Preservation Commission and Design Review Board and the Village of New Paltz meeting on September 11th, 2023. What, their meeting open? And maybe not inappropriate to remember 22 years ago, just as a matter of record. 9/11. That's something really different and important 22 years ago. So just put us in mind of that. Why don't we turn our attention to the merits in the July meeting? Did anybody see the minute? It looked good to me, but then I didn't have the detail. So how about a motion to approve as submitted? Okay.
on this name.
For.
It's a sign application.
Oh, sure, yes, please have a seat. We literally just opened the meeting. And secretary runs our last minute copies will be right now.
Of course.
Michael, you seconded, sir, and I was in favor of this. Absolutely. That's good.
I'm having trouble with permission right now.
Okay, let's have that's fine. Now, just for your notes, minutes are approved 5-0, and moved by Camilla, seconded by Michael, approved by everybody. Thank you very much for noticing for the minutes.
Yeah.
Let's press on with our agenda. I think everybody saw, I hope you said it, and Joe can't attend this evening. No real update yet on staffing in building department, and still working on it. And the other matter, the accessory building unit, just want to underscore that that would be something good to ask them to next, just to kind of make sure we remember in the context of and community. Dollar did not miss anything, it was just the two items. Honestly, is anybody joining you? Anybody else you're expecting?
Just Amy and I.
Perfect, why don't you come up to the table then? I was asking you because we're actually a little heavy. Sure. Schedule, and if you're both here, then that's nice and easy. Please come on.
Should we take a seat?
Yes, please. So we are actually projecting.
Sure.
Applications, so we've got that.
Good.
Is there anything you wanted to add that didn't make it onto the standard?
No, I mean, basically, we're leasing the, what was it, Ireland beer space. We're looking to do a similar kind of thing of our local, strictly local beer and wine. And we're just looking to update their signage. Just kind of signage directly over it on top of it. Black and white. I believe aluminum is the material. It's approximately 4 feet by 4 feet square, and yeah, that's it. Scry Chapel is how you pronounce the business name. It's a Belgian town of Scry, and there's a church there, so the name's inspired by that. Yeah.
So no other exterior changes?
No, we're looking to, we might put some fresh gravel down. Otherwise, not really. Eventually, we're gonna look into doing some picnic benches out there, to do some outdoor seating. Once we get those kind of permits approved, but we're not doing any changes to the exterior. No painting, no plans of any sort of that at the moment. So just the signage.
Questions on the sign of signage? Pretty cut and dry. Yeah, we appreciate the clear application. Have you opened or did?
We have not. We just started leasing the space with the summer. So we're going through the process of getting liquor licensing and health department stuff. So that's taken a while. Hopefully all that works out and goes through. Yeah, once all those permits go through, then we can open. Hopefully October, November. We'll see. Once depends on once everything's approved. So
We hope it goes soon.
yeah. We're looking to carry Arabic stuff and some of the local breweries and wineries and such. And currently I work at Wildflower in Gardner. So I'm always kind of talking to like distributors, a lot of local vendors, stuff like that. So this will be almost a little extension, the Wildflower vibe with copying what Arrowwood was right doing. So
You have a listed as a restaurant, yes?
yeah, we're gonna do some light food. Basically not entrees. So soup, salad, yeah, and some charcuterie. So just
Yeah. The kitchen.
Yes.
no, we're gonna do like a cafe style prep area with like kitchen gadgets like a crock pot, toaster oven, a couple things like that, and just do some simple salads and cheese plates and such. So
Great.
we're talking good. Yeah, it's so nice.
I never heard that term.
Yeah.
Good luck. Comments, is there a motion to approve as submitted or any questions before you make a motion to approve? Second by Shannon. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Godspeed to the project.
Good luck.
See you in October.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Keep in mind that we want to see you again if you decide to do exterior.
Do anything, yeah,
Interior is somebody, you and in some cases the building.
Sure.
We don't need to.
Does that include things that aren't permanent, like demonstrations?
Gray area, I was thinking you mentioned the gravel, definitely not gravel.
yeah,
Benches.
or,
I think it'd be close.
or if we did something like a fire pit element, I mean, that's also fire department and stuff, but.
You know, I don't think. I'm trying to think.
Yeah,
It's Huckleberries, we did approve that project, but there was never a discussion of tables would look like this.
That is a similar vibe, yeah,
Yeah.
Very kind of, yeah.
Having said that, so I think that we don't require, or that we don't have jurisdiction, we have a certain jurisdiction, but maybe the flip side of it is we're here to help. So if you want some free design ideas or what advanced design ideas.
Yeah, on what ways, fit well within that, yeah, the area here.
Sure, we would still need a permit for outdoor seating, right?
So.
Yeah, there's that outdoor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking with, also,
It's separate.
Yeah, all of the.
Yeah, you can check through the building department. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I mean, there may be some grandfather.
yeah, I think there's a porch that we can do stuff on, but some of the other, we have to get permit for that, and all the bottom stuff.
Yeah, so it wouldn't necessarily involve us, that it might just be in the building department or maybe planning board.
Sure. But yeah, going forward, if we have any other design, outdoors and design ideas, we could just like shoot you guys an email, just to be safe and sorry kind of thing.
Yeah, sure.
That makes sense.
That's fine, here to help.
We're, we'll do it about 30 hours.
I also like this, there's this place down the block, I'm just noticing, yeah, I like their outdoor
Yeah.
zone, a lot, so.
Which one? Realize.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Which was rethought, so there's another case where that's actually landmarked. That property, we didn't get involved to Chelsea tables.
Right.
I think there's a pretty.
Yeah, but swinging bench.
Yeah,
like
we
that.
got just. But it's. Cool.
Sure. Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Hope everything goes well.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thomas, I'll be in touch with the building department, let them know.
Great, amazing, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did that motion come from George?
Yeah,
yes. Seconded.
And second by Jim.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You ready for us, Jim?
Yes, I am.
We're ready.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Got it.
It was. It was a blessing. And it was, I think it was so, it was fun. You know, it just forced my hand again, but anyway, I went up there and it's around, it was somewhere around 12 by 12. Around that size, it was so old, I even forgot how old it was. You know, exactly, it was just an old, metal thing, but looks a lot better. And it's about the same size. That's not gonna be right. I was out there.
They have to give you choice of color.
Yes, absolutely. It's your choice. No, you guys have far more aesthetics now than I. Yeah, and so.
Jim, is this the style you're
Yes.
considering? Okay,
Yes.
And
Yeah,
do-
it's 12 by 12
12 by 12. Okay.
And I'm pretty sure that that's
under.
the upper limit,
Yeah.
140
Yeah, that's
square
right.
feet is.
Yeah, that is.
That's fine.
Yeah, under the-
It's pretty close to the.
Many years. The material, so they're illustrating, sort of the sign. But I think your quotation.
Yeah, it looks more like wood, actually, I think, to the bottom.
I think that's probably the only thing I'm. Saying about the application of this day with me. It's just a notch.
Right, I know. Looks good for a couple of years, isn't it?
Yeah.
Looks good for a couple of years. Yeah, so the terrace.
And that's like a wood composite,
Kind of,
you know, I've seen the product. And it's,
yeah, it looks like.
um,
Okay.
And in terms of placement, you're thinking.
Yes, I know. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to get the old.
Colleagues, any questions?
And you guys are welcome to pick the color.
You might delegate if you're willing, just because maybe, harmonizing with the house is the biggest question, staying within some kind of historic color, but that's almost everything.
Right.
Camilla's excellent at spotting combinations.
So maybe I will just like buy some time and look at this color.
Oh, yeah, you're welcome to have that. Would you like that?
Yes. that
Yeah,
would
I
be
know
great.
what it is already.
Are they paintable at all? Do the
Well, they are, and actually they told me, oh, we wanna make your barn as soon as your shed, as soon as we know what color it is. Otherwise you have to paint it yourself. That's a big thing. So I think it would look a lot better if they painted it. That's
It
all.
would be a good idea also is to match the roof shingle color to the house.
Good call,
Yeah.
good call, because you do have choice of shingle.
Oh, you do?
Yeah,
Yes, you do.
Oh,
it's right
great.
on the top here, different color roof shingle.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Yeah.
Camilla,
Please,
assuming
please,
this is a
feel
pleasant
free.
vote, how soon could you get down?
Yeah.
This week?
This week.
Oh, that's great. Great. So could I email you or something?
Yes,
Or, yeah.
definitely.
I'll email. Okay, that's perfect. Thank you so much. All right. I know it's, I just wanted to make sure everything was a lot better. You guys have a lot better eyes than I do at this sort of thing.
One of
So
us
thank you.
does.
Thank you very much
But
for
the
that.
roof
Thank you
shingle
very
idea
much
is
for that.
great. So colleagues, any questions? Do we feel ready to vote? So just to recap, we're going to leave the choice of color to the negotiation and discussion between Jim and Camilla, who's delegated. We're going to be thinking about roofing that matches or closely complements what's on the house. It's going to be in the same location, and it's going to be under the 144.
Yep.
At or under 144. Motion to approve? Moved, seconded. All those in favor?
Great. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks everybody
Good
for
luck.
their,
So we
thanks
hope within
everybody
a
for
week,
their aesthetic sense.
yeah, within a week, I hope, or within
Yes.
this week, I hope you can
Yeah. I'll
meet
tell
up and.
them. They keep calling me. Anyway, I
um,
guess they're making a run or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably just in their
Yeah.
workflow too.
Right.
Um,
Yeah. Well, no hurry, just as long as it's not snowing.
Yeah.
Nah. Anyway, they're pretty busy. They said they won't get done until probably October sometime. So. Oh, well.
we used them for a whole semi-custom garage and they were really good.
Yeah, they're good.
I
Yeah,
have
they
to
have
say,
good
I
products.
ended up being very happy with
Yes.
every aspect of them.
Don't want anything cheap. Gonna outlast me. Anyway.
Jim, take care. Don't forget you have a jacket.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks very much. Bye-bye. Oh, no, that's our microphone or our, Jim, take good care. Good luck with the project. Okay, good. Thank you for weighing in on that.
It's just.
Yeah. Well, okay, so one thing you might raise, when I did obviously a much bigger project, I told them they custom painted it. I
So
don't know
we
if
can
that's, I don't know at this price point if they would do that, but it's worth
We can
asking.
try.
Yeah. Good. Everybody, let's press on with consultations. Val, did we?
Nick is here, Scott will be coming shortly, I think.
Okay, maybe, how about if we wait for Scott and we'll just press on with some things and then give a shout when he's present. So updates, 145 North Chestnut. I think I don't really have anything to add except that the area variance is still pending as far as I know. 184. Looks like the public hearing will continue on the 15th. Again, I don't really have, Val, please fill in if I'm
Yeah.
missing anything.
The updates.
184.
184 is the proposed hotel
Oh,
next to where the
yeah. Yeah, what was the performance?
peak performance, yeah, and lots of other
Yeah,
things.
sure.
So it's,
Oh, okay.
I think
thought
that
we-
was just before your joining. but
Yeah, no, it was,
we had a pretty thorough
right,
review of their design.
yeah.
Which I read in the paper is not pleasing to every neighbor who weighed in, but we
Yeah, I
did
think
work
it
with them
was-
quite a lot.
Yeah, I think it was the mass of the building more than the exterior, is what I recall from it.
Some drainage concerns, I think.
Right.
Yeah, there was a quotation, somebody thought it looked like an industrial building, not appropriate to that part of town, but they made a very good case that it was referencing downtown area. So 11 Water Street, again, we had quite a significant role in helping to refine that design. Looks like that's moving along, but we're probably done, at least for now. I think probably skipping over item E, just because that's a longer discussion. What I might do is just fill you in. 160 Main Street, I tried as much as possible to copy everybody on that. Go ahead. please. Sure.
Okay, so it says that, in regard to 184 Main Street. This is the thing next to Dedrick Plaza, right?
Yes,
Yes.
Okay, so it says that public hearing adjourned to 9:15. Where is it going to be publicized and who is conducting the public hearing?
It's a planning board public hearing. It already was publicized. They've left it open. They opened it up and they have.
Okay, so there is going to be a new post reminding people that there is.
I don't know that there'll be a new post because they haven't closed the public.
Yeah,
would be on the village
the
website.
village website should have it, but I think Val's right. If it wasn't closed, then the assumption would be people interested would know that it was kept open. But yeah, that's public, that's planning board. With respect to some of the other updates and discussions, so 160 Main Street, the owner got in touch asking about basically a repaint and new decals. It all seemed to me some combination of pure like for like and close enough to like for like and mandated by Gulf Oil that the logo has changed a little bit, that there just wasn't any discussion. And so I said, please go ahead, we're going to consider that like for like. And I asked him just to take some before pictures and then some after, just so we have a record. I think that it can only be an improvement. Yeah, it's been time, and I think he knows that, so he's happy to do that. Val, could you update us on the two letters for the NL?
Well, they are now, they've been submitted, the cover letter and the full proposal form, the full documentation has been submitted both to the village as the property owner and to the.
So that's kind of the end of our work. This is nothing more. George, update us on 68 and 70 Main.
Well, Mike and I had a visit with Sam.
Oh, sorry.
No.
This is,
This is
Update us on what?
gourmet pizza.
yeah, gourmet pizza.
Oh, I
Sorry,
just took a picture today.
I did as well, which I'll be glad to share over on this side.
Yeah, so that, you know, the side of the building is complete.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah. So that's almost the same photo I took.
All assumed party board.
Yep.
And they're taking out, it might be down, they were taking down all the scaffold today and moving to the front.
Yeah, that's terrific. So they're gonna go side, front, side.
Yep.
Nice. It looked really good. I took almost exactly the same photo. One of the things that really stuck out to me is how carefully they painted those corbels and rafter tails.
Yes.
It's really good.
And-
Kept the details.
Yes, did a nice job with that.
Yeah.
Looks really good in white compared to the color that it was.
And am I right that the stoops have already been done, right? That looked to me like,
All the stoops are done and the front exposed concrete is all bricked.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
I didn't take a picture of that.
I did, and it's not the greatest picture. I was kind of fighting shadows, but
Yeah, no, it's.
Nice.
Those are temporary rails. He has some customized rails being put on there.
it's gonna be great.
Yeah,
Really great. So
The brick was a couple months ago.
I think I just wasn't around or
Yeah.
didn't notice. Okay. Okay. Hello, Nick.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening to you.
Scott's here with us too, I believe. There he is.
Good evening.
Okay. Hi, Scott.
Hi,
Oh,
Scott.
there you are. Okay.
Well,
Sounds great. Welcome to you both.
Yes,
I'm just-
good to see all of you. Sorry I couldn't be there with you tonight. Unfortunately, I had a positive COVID test, so I want to make sure that I'm not infecting anyone else at this point. So, but we're here and we're happy to keep moving this along. So we thank you for the time this evening.
Of course. Thanks for sending the updates, which I'm looking at now. Looks like.
Great, yeah. We were very fortunate. Camilla was able to give us some time during the absences between the meetings, and we were able to sit and look at some color selections as well as some brick selections. And we've incorporated those colors and the brick into the rendering that you'll see this evening. Regrettably, AJ Capola Architect did not pick up the lintel detail that we're proposing on this drawing. However, I did send Val some proposed photos. Correct. Great. Thank you, Val. To match the product that we were discussing previously, to have a lintel and a sill that would be a bluestone-like product. It may be a manufactured product, but it will appear as if it is bluestone in the construction of the project.
Nick, and I got the drawing, but I did not get a rendering.
On the A5, those would be what we would be using currently as a elevation drawing. Sorry, not a rendering. I misspoke.
Great. That lintel looked very good to me, by the way.
The new sample there, Tom. Yeah, I provided, I don't know if Val received the last photo or not. We tried to keep it in a traditional sense. We actually took some photos of a couple buildings in Kingston, and we wanted to kind of mirror that to kind of keep that look of the traditional brick with the squared lintel and sill to match.
Right. Yeah, I think so. Now I'm a little at a loss because you did meet in July on the project and I had the minutes, but I don't really know the details. My recollection is we still wanted to talk about the roof treatment or the roof stair, or was that settled?
We
Yeah.
went back to AJ on this question of the stairs to roof, and we actually had a second one which was removed. This is the only stair to roof access. There was a conversation about pulling it off the plane of the building. If you look, that's the west elevation, but from the road, it's not visible from North Chestnut Street. And AJ's main concern is that it would be really a reconfiguration of the units in order to relocate that somewhere else. So what we did is we eliminated the second location that we had this, which would have been visible from North Chestnut. So we've kind of whittled it down to just one access point.
Okay.
Yeah, essentially there were two of them, and the one I think that was causing concern, it ended up being, we didn't really need it. We could have done away with it completely instead of trying to move it. So removing it completely was easier of a lift than trying to relocate it. So that's what AJ did. He just removed it from the project completely.
Great.
Yeah.
Good solution.
Just also to update the board, we did receive our variance on the 18th of August. I'm sorry, the 17th of August. They voted and passed a formal resolution to grant us the side yard setback at the ZBA. So our next step and next move is to go back to the planning board and ask them to conclude seeker now that the village engineer Dennis Larios has come up with a solution in regards to the sewer issue. In fact, we actually worked with the village, and we were working with our friends over at the other project at 145 to discuss a grant application that they actually submitted for their project, which would benefit both our projects and the entire corridor. So we've been in communication with the village on the sewer issue and the water concerns that the mayor and the engineer had raised. And hopefully they are now at least past us in a sense, so we can press forward with at least a conditional approval and a determination under seeker.
Great.
So our hope and goal would be to have a positive or an affirmative recommendation from your board this evening. So we can include that in our latest submissions that will go to the planning board. And then we will, continue the review with the planning board and hopefully ultimately for the only open item, which would be signage once the tenants have been determined for the space, once the building's under construction.
Mm-hmm. Great, thank you very much. That catches me up. Does anyone feel like there's a loose end to the design, to the colors, the materials?
If we could just look at now the examples, we've looked at maybe 5 different samples with Nick when I met him, was it in June, I think. And the 2 that we both liked the most were from the Restore series. They have a very nice tumbled texture, and the edges are not too sharp either, so they look almost like authentic used bricks. And we chose the iron gray for the siding, which goes really well with the brick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of enhances the colors. They don't, neither the siding nor the brick would look too dull or
Yeah.
too
We didn't want to go with anything too bright. And we also, as Camilla said, we wanted to find a brick that was a little bit more on the weathered look, than looking like a, a completely new brick that would be placed on the site.
Right.
And we also kind of looked at how this color combination would look next to the 145 Chestnut project. They are not exactly the same. This is a different grade than what they chose, but they complement each other.
I feel like that's real design review work, right? Just kind of thinking about how this neighborhood is growing so quickly and setting some precedents and making sure that the two new projects are complementary. It's great.
So the two bricks that we like was the Sanford and the Shrewsbury. One of them is the first, and the third and the bottom. One is a bit darker.
The first and the third, so the
Yeah.
bottom? Yeah.
Yes, so between those two.
It looks to me like the Sanford maybe has a little more dark in it than the Shrewsbury.
Yeah, a little bit brighter, Tom.
The opposite to me.
Interesting, yeah,
So that
definitely, but maybe what I'm seeing is that the dark looks darker.
it just depends on the physical sample as well. It doesn't look exactly like on screen.
Right, well, I feel like we're definitely within the range of something that community is going to be happy. Camilla, are you comfortable leaving the final decision?
Yes, because
Okay.
we compared the siding samples to both brick and we chose something like.
What about the mortar? Does it,
We were thinking of like a dark, but
Or
not,
okay.
not something bright because like,
yeah, that
Yeah.
would pop a light. That's what I was gonna say, nothing too bright.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess anything consistent with what's in the photos would work.
Yeah, we didn't want to propose anything bright or colored. It probably would be a muted cement type color, nothing white or bright red or anything along those lines for sure.
Okay, makes sense.
I really like how this is developing, Nick and Scott. We
Thank you.
also really appreciate how cooperative isn't the word, maybe it is the word, but we really are pulling in the same direction here, and I appreciate that.
Sure, it's been a very interactive process and we do appreciate the feedback. I know a lot of times you'll have true developers that'll come in and say, this is what we're going to do. And, that's not what our goal or our intention is. I mean, it's always been Scott's plan to build something that's in the character of the neighborhood. And since we're kind of developing a neighborhood here, we've kind of looked at all possibilities.
I think that's really true. You're going to be a major part of the development. Does anyone feel like there is a loose end? Shane?
Did we talk about having sills for this window surround, or that was the other building, right? The neighboring building? Instead of having like the picture frame trim?
We did not discuss it on the Trail Link building. I know we discussed it on my building at Mexican Kitchen, which we're actually starting the siding on. So stay tuned because that's moving along quickly now. But if you take a look, I think we did have, AJ had proposed a picture framing. But if that's something, we want to discuss, we certainly can.
Yeah, at the siding, because the brick, there's a sill, there's the stone sill,
Right.
so.
So do we want to think about replacing the lower picture framing with a true sill?
I lean in that direction.
I kind of always lean in that direction, but I feel like for this building, it'll, the other
windows had the true sill as well, so. You know, I feel like it would be a good choice, to be honest.
Okay. I don't see any issue with that. It's really just a construction detail. It doesn't change the cost at all to do that. And if that's the direction that you'd like us to take, we certainly can incorporate that.
I think it'll help tie the windows together, you know, just to have that similar detail.
Giving similar shore.
Yeah, I incline that
Yeah.
way too. But
Great.
yeah, it sounds like 5 of us are saying that would be a good thing to look into, pursue.
Okay,
And I don't know, I don't think you need a skirt or anything below the sill, just the sill would be fine.
okay.
Unless,
Just a little more mass. Than,
yeah, and just give it like a little bit more depth. I just think the picture framing, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm never crazy about the way it
Yeah.
looks. And since there's the sills on the other windows, I just feel like it makes sense.
Yeah. That sounds like something that would be fun for AJ to figure out,
Sorry.
honestly, I think.
I was looking to see if I happened to have a copy of the 15 North Front plans. I was gonna try to pull them up and show the detail on it, but yeah, it's not complicated to accomplish for sure. I mean, that's easy enough for us to do.
Yeah, I think that would be.
Excuse me.
Anything else in one notice? Well, if not, Nick, Nick and Scott, why don't we say that I will get a brief memo over to the planning board to say that we're, we've reached this point where we're down to really very minor details, but we're all on board with why they're important, and make sure you're copied on it.
I think that sounds reasonable. Scott, any questions?
Nope, that's pretty clear. Thank you very much.
No, thank you both. Could you remind me, you must know this, when is your next appearance at the planning board?
We have a team call tomorrow with our professionals. I'm going to guess, Tom, that we're probably about 2 to 3 weeks out before an appearance. So it'll give you a little bit of time. You don't have to feel rushed to get your letter off to them tomorrow or anything like that. So
Kind of what I was asking, yeah. I'll make sure it's done. I'll check the date and make sure they have it in good time.
great. And if you be so kind as you always do to copy us, we would appreciate that.
You got it.
Perfect.
Thank you very much. As always, thanks for great plans and a good project, and we're looking forward to seeing it move ahead.
Great. Well, thank you all for your hard work. We do appreciate that.
Very much. Thank you.
Okay, yes, good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Super. Sorry, just checking things off here.
Planning board's the 19th
19th, okay.
September.
Oh, that's
If they're not ready for that one, that would be October 3rd.
Okay. Okay, I'll make sure that it's there for the first. Thanks. Camilla, I think we're down to a report on 15.5 North Front.
Yes, with 15.5, we only have the door color that's still in the air. It's going to be some kind of blue to reflect the French style of the restaurant, and the whole that is with the interior scheme, the color scheme is complete, so that would be what we see.
Yeah.
Between the outside and the inside, and there might be some flower boxes or planters that could be painted the same color as the door. Present a nice complete and we chose a color for 15 Northern Street, public store, in the Walker store. It's going to be Page C6.
Right.
We try to match
Mhm.
something that goes well with the historic stone color. And it's also based on their preferences, you know, we try to stay in whatever they originally specified, but just a better image. Because at first they wanted to do HC3, but it's a bit too green, and so the stone and the green feels a bit down.
They started here and then up there. And
Nice.
that's a nice illustration of why it's good to have you consulting, because it's green and kind of beigey.
And then the door color would be.
In lion's red. Yeah,
Nice combination.
that's really good. Did I guess the detail of the restaurant is going to pivot to French?
It is, it's gonna be over 15 years old.
I love it. That's,
Yeah.
that must have happened. Did you learn that in July?
Yeah, I think so, because we did the sign.
Okay, well, that's wonderful news.
Are they putting party board on their building?
Yes.
Again, you know, really cooperative.
Yeah, it's nice.
And the sliding color would be khaki blue. I have a sample of that too. We matched that to the stone color as well, something to complement the stone. Not exactly the same, but.
Yep, I'm familiar with that color. Nice.
I didn't want to go too dark.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting, that nail line. Is that a way of saying what the reveal is?
No, it's over that.
Oh, you must
You
say.
could purchase different reveals for different size sidings to, for whatever exposure you want.
But this is directing the installer to stay north of that line.
Just say it over that.
Okay, got it, yeah. Great, thank you, Camilla. It's really, I mean, your touch is all over this community now, that's great. Including, if I will confess, my wife and I had Camilla over to our house. We need to do a little tweak on it.
The being that you brought that shadow line up, that's another thing that you want to consider when someone's using clapboard, hardy board, is the exposure.
Yeah.
And, you know, like Ed Burke is doing 6-inch, which is nicer. 4-inch gets very busy, it's more new. The older sidings were always 6 and 8.
Yeah. Yeah, keep it in mind, because they make all the sizes.
All different sizes.
Great. Camilla, art show updates?
Yes, it's finalized that we will have a 2-month show next year,
Great.
May and June. Of course, we didn't choose a specific date for the reception yet. There is still plenty
There's
of
lots
time
of
for
time
that,
for
but
that.
since we know that it's going to happen in May and June, we can start the planning process and we can start writing the press releases already in time for
revising
the publication, since it's going to be our 10th anniversary.
Oh, yeah, that's a story in itself.
So we should have
Yes.
a
Oh, it's gonna be at the college?
No,
Or in the library?
library.
Oh, yeah.
But just that it's the 10th anniversary of doing something that probably no preservation commission in New York does.
Oh, how great.
Camille's idea from the start. And it just gets better every year. This year is the COVID years. That was good. That's great, thank you. The Bluestone Sidewalk Survey, Michael, my recollection was that you thought you would talk to Alan Stout.
I'm gonna drop the ball.
No, there's no huge rush on this.
Yeah, well, anyway,
It could save us a whole, I mean, if
Yeah,
something's
yeah.
been done, it would save us a ton of.
yeah, so I will make sure that I do that before I forget. This time.
So let's just, I think the answer is bounce it to next month.
Yeah,
And
sorry
I
about
hope to
that.
hear something. And maybe just let me know in the interim, because if he doesn't have anything in the end, I think
Yeah, of course.
maybe we'll just try to get a map and maybe just hand draw.
Yeah, if he
So-
doesn't have something, I will go through or if he does or doesn't, I will go through my old notes.
Okay.
If he does, then that will help probably speed up what I can work with.
Yeah,
But either way, I'll get back to you. I'm gonna actually send myself a note right now.
sounds great. George, I think this may have predated your joining, so Bill Murray, several months ago, maybe even most of a year ago, said it'd be nice just to know how much Bluestone sidewalk we have in the community, and just kind of do a survey. And that seemed like a good idea to us. Don't know if it's gonna go anywhere, but at least we can generate a snapshot for it.
I was getting very excited that they're gonna have Bluestone sidewalks all up and down Main Street, as they did in Stone Ridge.
Yeah, that's right.
Stone Ridge, they did it, it's beautiful.
Yeah, I don't know if it'd be all up and down Main Street.
Only a few neighborhoods. We still have.
We're happy that we have sidewalks up and down Main Street.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That piece. Did list, made a list.
Yeah.
Always. Some.
Perfect. Yeah, that sounds like a small subcommittee to get this thing going. That's great. Huguenot Street report. Michael, do you have anything further on 181?
Yes, well, let's see, what's the current? So they were approved for home occupation. Is my understanding.
They were approved.
Yes. So I think to the extent that they need to do anything else with the village, they do not. I believe that's
a
my
success.
It's
understanding.
true
So-
that they asked for the home occupation and that Cory approved it. And it's all good, but they still have research still on them.
They requested that it be.
Rental.
Yeah, so,
Cancel. But,
yes. Oh, I didn't know that, okay.
Right.
The village board. Why the village board?
Well, I thought they would have to recognize it.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that the village board did that.
So I can put it on here later.
Oh, okay. I thought that if it came down from the state, then that would be that.
Well, land trust. But
Yeah, that I don't understand.
I think because they did an original authorization and then.
No. Okay, interesting.
I actually don't.
Okay. But in the meantime, they are okay to operate with as an herbal school under the home occupation use.
That's a success. That's a success.
Without having to change it. It does. That's an interpretation, because the herb garden is just directly adjacent to the. We'll be up to the building inspector to make an opinion about that. I don't know if anybody's asked for that. Yeah, okay. Well, it'll be up to Alex now. If he was asked for it, whether opinion, that would be the official way to go. So, yeah, so by and large success for that.
Yeah.
For that.
Super. Thanks. I think PB 2315 pretty much explains itself. It's that subdivision. I don't have anything new on the Reformed Church. I don't know if you've heard anything. I think we would have heard if it was. There is an other, which is the Life for Life. Val, help me. Craig, there it is. Craig Shankles asked about, he has a flat roof and that roof has failed, and he asked if he needed to do an application, and I said no, because it's just a little flat. Other amendments, so noted.
There's the Doris shed.
And then the Doris shed is the other one. So we approved 2 years ago and extended once. Yeah, it was in the height of COVID and building supply chain issues. We gave permission for a shed. We extended it once. The extension is coming due, I think, on the 16th of this month. Third extension. At this point, they asked us to withdraw it. So maybe it never gets built. Maybe they'll come back with the same application, but it was not a problematic approval. So in the case of Craig Schenkel's roof, we just asked for before and after photos so we can make a record. I think that's everything on Huguenot Street, unless I was aware of anything else. Budget's in good shape. We're still below pace, so to speak. Shane, I'm thinking now that we're past Labor Day, should we get together?
I really should. I feel like it's falls in my course. So.
Well, I think it's also kind of in my court. So let's just get together and we can work from the draft that you did on windows and doors and extrapolate out to similar documents for soffit, siding, lighting. And I was also thinking, as long as we're doing a series of documents, maybe like the thumbnail sketch of who we are, what we do, how long we've been in business, which is 22 years now. You know, just little 1 to 2 pagers that we can develop a little library on. Sure. So,
I have a lot more free time these days, so I'm not going to the city for work every week. So
sounds great. It's just let's talk.
Let's do it.
And I've retired, so I should have a lot more time. Okay. Goals, I think maybe we'll come back to in a while. I feel like probably the last thing is to talk about where we are with 5 and 7 Prospect. George, do you want to update as far as you got? And then I'll give my little today update.
Yeah, after the meeting we had, Mike and I and Rich from the planning board, Sam and Lee, and they seem to be very agreeable with us working together with Lee, or myself working together with Lee, to just come up with a nice front facade. And I contacted Lee 3 times. It took 2 times to get in touch with him, and he said he was very busy, maybe next week. And I asked him to put a date, let's put a date together, and never answered me again. So then I just pulled back and didn't pursue it. I don't know if Sam knows about that.
Yeah, I think he does. I mean, I didn't know until 11 o'clock today that he knows that he must have. I was down there getting some emergency milk. And I ran into Sam, who was fixing something, and I said, "Are you coming tonight?" And he had no idea that there was a meeting tonight. But we talked a little bit further, and I guess Lee did do some really preliminary remakes of the elevations. So
For which property?
for 5. Yeah, and then I have something more to tell you about 7. So basically, I'll just pass these around. They weren't really very good quality, and he copied them for me to be nice. But he's definitely made some of the recommended changes that we talked about. One of the ones I'm especially happy to see is in response to what neighbors were saying about who's going to live here. You know, in the original design, each of those bedrooms was equal size, and each one had the same size closet and its own bathroom, which is great in one way. But if you're trying to appeal to families, that's an unusual configuration. So we kind of heard that message. And the new configuration has only 2 bathrooms for 3 bedrooms. And one of the bedrooms looks a little bit more like a master bedroom, a little bit. So I think that might play well with the neighbors and the prospect that we're worried about, you know, just unrelated individuals always renting. The other thing is that he shrunk the width of the building from 56 to 44, but he's not counting the garage. So I don't know if we really have fixed anything. So let me just send those that way first. I think basically where we're headed is, you know, we probably want to look at this and see if we have any recommendations. I do. And then try to get them to come in this month. So that's what I know about 5. On 7, the mayor really tried to push the idea of demolishing the barn, putting up a barn as an accessory dwelling unit, but his math was wrong. Or it's not that his math was wrong. Everybody was massively overestimating the square footage of the main house. And instead of like a 1,200 or almost, I think it was a 900 and something or 1,000 square foot structure, he's only got 660 feet
For the
accessory, which he doesn't see as economically viable. So it sounds like the thinking is back to another structure connected by a breezeway to the back.
Do we know if the existing house has a basement that is got ceilings that are would comply with this, or could be used as part of the floor area?
A really good question.
Because if it does, and if it is a full equivalent to say the first floor, that would bring the square footage up to about 2,800.
That's about right. He said that they determined it was like 1950. So we'd be adding about 900.
Yeah, the Ulster County records say that the 2 floors are closer to 1,800. I forget the exact number. But yeah, that was something that I couldn't get from the records. And it says in here, I have to pull up different. Let me just do the definitions. So yeah, a finished basement or unfinished providing structural headroom of 7 feet 6 inches or more. So that would be the question. And I have no idea. It's a fairly old house.
Yeah,
May not have that.
Yeah,
Probably not.
I'm thinking it's probably the era of our house, and
Yeah.
it's barely 6 feet, it may not
Yeah.
even be 6 feet of clearance.
So,
It's a good idea, but
yeah, well, it just changes the math. Makes
Yeah.
it probably doable, but without it, it's true. And he would only have about 600 square feet for an accessory apartment that would be allowed. And nobody,
Yeah, it would be a nice apartment. I mean, what we're up against is we don't have strict laws that give us grounds to say you can't do the economically maximal thing.
yeah, well, he wouldn't, I mean, the property owner made it clear he wouldn't invest to tear down a barn and build a new building that was almost 600 square feet. Because the investment just doesn't pay itself back in a reasonable way. And unfortunately, the message he got was from people in the village government was that there was little point in going to the CPA to ask for a variance on the accessory dwelling unit size, because it would open up,
Massive can of worms.
you know, it would create a precedent, and it would be hard for them to then turn that down for any other applicant who wanted to build a larger accessory dwelling unit. So, and apparently the law was changed at some point in the last few years, I think, that you don't actually have to live in the primary residence as the owner any longer in order to be there, which, you know, is advantageous for creating housing, but I would then be more concerned about basically creating two primary residences on property, so. Yeah, so we're sort of stuck.
Kind of stuff.
But you have some other information about the property?
Well, only that, you know, now he did confirm that he's getting a pretty strong message, don't bother with the variance.
Yeah.
And I do understand the village's position. I mean, that would just open things way up. So I think we're back to a design that has basically a second structure connected by a breezeway, which I don't know if it can ever look good. At least it's mostly hidden in the street view. I wish we had grounds or laws that were stricter and, you know, gave us justification for keeping this.
Well, at least it's not the front facade, it's in the backyard,
Right.
so. Yeah, it's not gonna affect the streetscape.
No, it shouldn't much. And he was very agreeable at that second meeting that I attended. Very agreeable to landscaping, you know, to try to hide the parking. Because one of the things about Prospect Street is the majority of the properties have a driveway that either goes to a garage or sort of terminates somewhere in the backyard. You don't have all this street side parking. And number 3 does have a lot of parking that's visible from the street. So we're trying to offer creative solutions to maybe get that parking behind and recover some of that blacktop for green, but I don't know. What we'll get done.
So his plan is to basically bring in another house and just kind of connect the two.
That's pretty much what I would call it. You know, building.
Has there been any discussion with him about building a legitimate addition to the existing house in such a way that it complements the house? Is that? That seems like it would be. I realize he wants to create a 2-family residence, so we'd have to. But why? But that doesn't seem like a difficult thing to do, right? As an architect, to have some kind of common entrance that goes off. So that the two
Yeah, I
are
mean, I'd have to take a look at the floor plans, but I don't have them in front of me, but yeah, that's a great point. I mean, I feel like you could just, you know, extend the roof lines and maybe just,
Yeah.
you know,
And clean up that mess. That there's a kind of shed roof that really never should have been built that way because it just collects water. It's really bad for, you know, where it fends the water.
I mean, from a cost point of view, is there a huge difference to getting a prefab house, bringing it in, assembling it, connecting the two versus building an addition of a similar size?
You know, I'm not familiar with prefab cost.
Yeah,
But, I gotta believe you could make a prefab look nice if it's designed properly. It'll look like an addition if you make a connection in the back to the house.
I don't know, because it's gonna have all different details. Presumably, than the existing house, you know, like that's part of the problem, is like the. I don't know, I feel like they're gonna be conflicting with each other, even though they're connected.
See, the whole thing is that Sam and Rick and them, they really are not concerned with really what it looks like, just but what it's, what the finances are
Yeah,
gonna be when it's done. And it's unfortunate because it, you know, just good design outside doesn't really cost anything to
No,
move
that's
windows.
right.
We're not telling them to add stuff, but just make it properly designed. And for example, that, you know, what he came back with, and, you know, the gables offset, but bigger windows on one side and smaller windows on the other, and you know, it should start out with the gable in the center and the door in the center, and then your windows offset that, and then you could put the shed garage and, you know, it's,
Yeah.
you know, and I see why he did it based on the first floor plan, because he wanted the bigger living room, but you could move that bathroom in the back and shift that over to the right side to get the bigger living room that way. You know.
In some ways, would it be, would the design be better if these are like two townhouse with living space below? Because what he's got is an apartment above and an apartment below.
Well, what he did with the main entryway is kind of nice.
Yeah,
One
that's-
centered door,
Yeah.
you know, just need to like
But then
shift everything center and.
you're talking about 5.
Yeah, back
Yeah.
to 5. I mean, you know, clearly like the recommendations were listened to, but I'm with George. The whole thing's not working, and that the shed, I think in a way. It's still, he wrote down that it's now 44 feet wide instead of 56, but not counting the garage, so we haven't really gained anything in terms of footprint. I just wonder if maybe the solution is two equal up-down townhouse kind of things with maybe one central door, or coming back to this idea of a central door that has a vestibule. Each unit can go down to the basement where he wants to put the washers.
I mean, I don't think for us, it matters what happens on the inside, right? It's really not, whatever financially works for him. And, you know, but the outside is what matters on the street, like the streets.
Yeah. I mean, not that, but something like that. You know. Did everybody see? I mean,
Sorry, I was just a random Google image.
it's
that's
like
all.
the first hit, but at least that's got some reference to
Yeah.
Prospect Street. I think I mentioned that maybe in the almost every structure on Prospect is front gabled.
Yeah, I kind of, you know, just with simplicity and, you know, the front gable where it hits the ridge of the main house, and very simple.
Yeah.
And
Well, those are nice harmonious designs.
those roof pitches don't need to be that steep. You could work with a more, you know, softer roof pitch.
Yeah, because
Yeah, I'm just curious because how they did it with a full 2-story versus a 1.
It's a full 2-story.
Yeah, that one is.
but that's probably a single family residence, right?
Well, inside, you can make it whatever you want,
Yeah.
you know.
So I sort of see two problems. I think this design still needs a lot of attention, and secondly, I don't know how you do this prefab kind of addition with the breezeway and make it look good with Shane. In your experience, George, if he were to rip off the back of the house, like just take that whole wall away and build something that is more in the style of the house, is that gonna cost a lot more? And don't you know?
Might open up a can of worms, right, where you need to go, actually, you need to do. This roof deck needs work and the plumbing, if you're gonna extend the plumbing, you might as well put a new boiler, blah, blah, blah. And
Yeah.
I feel like it's like a lot of unforeseen consequences when you do like a big addition.
Yeah,
It's kind of hard to say until you really kind of get into it and have to see the logistics about, you know, extending all the, you know,
I can see
all the
it.
so he wants
services.
to put a two-story modular in the back and attach it.
Well, I think it's modular. I didn't actually know that, but I think you're.
Yeah,
Prefab or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah, let me pull
company
it
in
up again. I'm
Pennsylvania.
pretty sure it is. Well, speak out.
And then, you know, I would call it a breezeway. It's covered space, but like, you know, they walk in, go that way. I'm actually not even sure why it's connected. Does that have to do with
Did he,
how he's the? how
No, it's the
he
same
is?
issue. It would be more than 35%. You can't have you can't have two primary residences on
Okay.
the same property in the Marchi district. You can have an accessory unit to a primary residence, but it can't be more than 35% of the floor area of the primary. And you can have a duplex. And so he's creating the duplex, a two-family.
Yeah. Like
Such a wacky way to do it.
Lean-to type
Yeah,
thing. connected.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's basically taking what the code says he can do but literally taking two houses and connecting.
Yeah.
As opposed to creating a duplex out of a structure that might look like that, or what I showed you that is two residences that architecturally look like a cohesive building.
yeah, because he's not looking to disturb the front.
Right.
He's not looking to put any dollars in the front, just.
Yeah.
Sure,
I don't know if the finances do point that way. I mean, I think my sense is, you know, just number of units is. what
Sheer
optimizes.
quantity of quality.
And then maybe the
Well, the bottom line, he has the right to do what zoning would allow him to do.
I know.
We're just trying to get him to make it look halfway decent.
And I think
you know,
we're halfway there. I mean, you know, I think there's goodwill.
There is
I
goodwill.
think there's goodwill, but it kind of bumps up against the profit principle. I mean, at the end of the day, we don't approve or disapprove. We make a recommendation and that can have all kinds of nuances. But
you know, my feeling is to 5. I think if we could tweak that one to make it look nice. 7 is already an old classic house. What he's gonna do in the back. If we could get what we want out of 5, I think that we move towards 7 and try to help a little bit there.
yeah,
But, you know, it would be nice to make 5 look nice.
because it does already look nice, or, you know,
Yeah.
pretty cool.
is it completely off the table?
they may have intended that. I mean, for what it's worth, it's kind of been a principle of the HPC not to do that in a pending case. Like it's not really honest government to kind of pull that. There's one case way back that was semi that. But this would be, I think I wouldn't be comfortable doing that because we're well into this discussion already. You know, I think George is right that 5 should be the priority. And what we can accomplish with maybe fencing or landscaping with 7 to try to limit the damage. It's really too bad that barn idea couldn't work. Numbers just, yeah, it was a good solution.
That was a great solution.
Yeah, it would have been profitable. So moving forward, what if George and I try to meet with Lee? Because I think that's the starting point, like that.
I think that would be great. Huh?
That design needs work.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be rude, but it doesn't seem like there's a lot of time or effort put into that. I feel like there needs to be, you know, more thoughtful energy put into that design. I mean, that's like an hour of work maybe. Yeah, but I feel like there's got to be a little more of an effort on
And
that
in
design.
fairness, I mean, that may be exactly right. He, you know, had to do something in a hurry,
Yeah,
but
And it could be his client, you know,
Yeah.
forcing him in that direction. Financially, I don't want you to spend a lot of time on this, just give me something that's gonna work and meet zoning,
yeah,
you know?
that's probably the case.
Yeah, that's. But being that Sam gave us the green light to go work with him and tweak it. And if we could just, I mean, it's not terrible what he did, it just needs some little fine tuning and it could look nice.
Maybe you guys could take some photos of.
That's why I took these,
Elements on Prospect Street and such.
yeah.
Yeah, good. And then.
Yeah, I didn't see anything on I went up and down Prospect Street, there was nothing but a center gable, they were all
Okay.
side gables. But there's some in the village like that.
Oh, those are from the village?
No, these are just, I found
Yeah,
online.
yeah.
well, yeah, but probably not do what he wants to accomplish. And, you know, something I mentioned in the memo, you know, if we had jurisdiction, maximizing economic return wouldn't be an argument. And, you know, if this were a historic district and we have ultimate say, you would just say, no, you can't do it. So deal with a less profitable enterprise or do something else. But we're not in that situation. Does that seem like a way forward, everybody? George and I will try to sit down with the architect, try to nudge things in a better direction.
I think you're gonna have more pull than I had and, you know, just maybe CC me on the email and get in touch with Lee and I think he'll answer you right away and maybe he'll meet with us, we'll go. Hey, I also told him whatever's convenient, we could go to him, we could meet at my office,
Sure.
you know.
He's up in Rose.
He's in Rosendale. I don't know if he has an office or he works out of his home, but
Okay. Good. Well,
that's good.
got some time.
Yeah, I would just recommend keeping Sam informed,
Yeah.
so that he's really in the loop.
Right.
Not after the fact, but
Yes.
ahead of time.
Yeah.
Because I agree with George, he has his limits, but he's very amenable, has been really amenable to trying to work with us and the neighbors.
Yeah.
But he does have guardrails that he's not gonna go past.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. No, I agree completely. Very amenable. Okay, so that seems like a way forward there. Just, I guess, a quick reminder about training and professional development. Miller, were you able to tune into any of those? I haven't done it yet either, but I was thinking that Camilla and I both have a subscription. I think it lasts a year. And if there's something really germane, we could presumably just project it as part of the meeting. Okay. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. There's one other thing I did want to get rolling now. So here we are in September. We usually try to contact the Partners in Preservation awardees in December. So we don't have to decide tonight, but maybe we could start with a long list of ideas for that award. And I think that it's going to be a banner year, actually.
So that project across from the old Barnaby's, that red house,
Yeah.
what a job he's doing.
Yeah.
Feel blessed to
You
have
know,
that guy.
Oh, I don't know.
He's preserving everything the way it was,
Yeah.
original, all wood. I mean,
Is the new,
Copper
is the
work.
new second story deck wood? I couldn't tell.
I don't know, I can't see the decking on it.
No, but I mean, the posts that are going
Everything
up.
is wood.
Oh, it is. Yeah, it's hard to tell because it's
Beautiful.
been primed already.
I mean, he's got copper drip edge and copper gutters and all cedar shingles, all, it's beautiful what he's doing.
I agree.
Did he ever come in front of this board?
Nope. We don't have purview. We'd be there
Oh, right.
for recommendations. But we would be there to- That's a really, I hadn't immediately thought of that. I think Moonburger. Potentially. We're talking long list. You know, just because. Thanks for design.
And they were really cooperative.
Very
Pretty cute.
cooperative. We also want to make sure, and this pertains to one of the properties I had in mind, that the project's done. Like, I don't think we should give awards for things that are still in process, but I think Ed Burke will be done. And, you know, I just,
Definitely deserves, he went way out of his way there.
15 and a half church.
Yeah.
In front.
yeah. Yeah. Assuming it's done, and that's probably a pretty safe assumption. Probably. Lemon squeeze,
That's what I was just gonna say, lemon squeeze, outstanding,
really, really high quality.
high quality construction there.
And then also the, is it John Johnson?
John Johnson.
It's not John Johnson. It's I'm thinking of the red place that has the pizzeria. A pizza.
Oh, is it John Jacobs?
John,
But that's the guy who owns ShopRite, what was that? He bought ShopRite Plaza,
oh, from Kempton.
yeah. And he owns that
I
building,
think it's John Jacobs, because I was just talking to somebody yesterday.
yeah, they did a nice
It does
job.
say
there.
something, It's a JJ.
Yeah, it is. I mean, that was the name I was told yesterday. We were talking about the Wells Fargo Bank. The Newport Savings Bank.
Yeah, he removed all the rotted wood clapboard and put it back and painted it, and really nice.
Did things really, really well.
Yeah,
It was sort of on my mind even last year, but they hadn't finished their awnings and there was still fixtures that were in. Yeah,
I don't know if anyone noticed, but 71 Main Street, you see the big black awning they put on and they painted the front facade black? It's across from Ed Burke's.
is that the computer store and the jeweler?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. You know, I walked in there today. I didn't look.
And it looks really nice. It just above needs some work, but down below is looking, really nice.
Interesting.
Yeah. We weren't consulted on that. which-
Yeah, I know.
It does look nice. It's a little bit like IFO's new fence, which we weren't consulted on, but that they now have.
I wonder if they got a building permit for that, because it sticks over the sidewalk.
I assume so.
Did
Unless
they
they,
replace it?
I'm wondering if they replaced one.
Did they?
There was definitely a cover in there. God, it's like, you live with this stuff, you don't even know.
I walked into that building today. I didn't see it.
Yeah, maybe it was just a replacement.
Could be.
I have some photos of Main Street.
Maybe it doesn't tell us. So that's a pretty good list.
That's the
already.
list.
Anybody think of anything else, especially any domestic projects like that beautiful red house? Let's continue the discussion, like maybe next month we feel like we're ready to vote.
Okay.
You know, get a little closer. That's
Is
already.
it, is it one person that gets the award?
We've ranged from like 5 a year to 1. And in recent years, kind of put the brakes on too many per year, but. You know, people who deserve should be recognized. Okay. Is there anything else tonight that we should talk about? I feel like it's been a pretty brisk meeting, all things considered, not bad. Good.
Yeah, I can think of anything.
All right. How about a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion?
Move it, seconded. From George to Michael. All those in favor of adjournment? Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
I love it.
thanks. Good.
Some of these meetings
Yeah.
go longer. Very suggestive. So I'll reach out, CC you, and I'll also CC Sam.
Yeah,
Michael's right, just keep him in the loop. My sense is Sam doesn't want to hear about it.